Emily, and welcome to Emwigsters Bookshelf. This is Ink and Inspiration, a series where I chat to authors about their books, their creative journeys, and stories that behind the stories. If you love books and the people who write them, you're in the right place. Let's jump in and tell us who you are and a little bit about your book.
I am Willow Aster. I live in Minnesota in the US and I write a bunch of books, but lately I've been doing a lot of small town romance.
What inspired your book, What It Takes in its series, seeing it's book two?
I love writing stories about people who've known each other since they were little kids. So, when I was planning this series, I knew Camden and Juliana, otherwise known as Juju, went way back. And yeah, I don't know what exactly inspired me, just that I love stories like that.
I always like the ones who know them since childhood, and then like you see them when they're older as well. It's like, yes, it's sort of meant to be.
Yes, I love that too. I love reading it and I loved writing it.
What drew you to writing in the first place?
It was like I couldn't not write. I just have always loved writing, whether it's songs or bad poetry or stories. I just have always loved it.
How did you choose which characters to center the story around? Did you sort of plan out which characters were going to be in each book, or it just as you were writing book one, it came to you for book two?
I Before I started the series, I sat down and figured out the family, kind of their dynamic with each other, their ages, and then from there, who I wanted where in the lineup. So, yeah, we start with Goldie. She's Camden's sister, and then Camden is the second oldest brother. I don't know why I've kind of gone all over the place with the lineup, but just whatever suits me at the time. And then I pretty much stick to that before I even start writing the series. So
So you're pretty much like a plotter. You like to know
I'm kind of a plantser. I
stuff.
will plot a lot of it and then I'll wing a lot of it.
What's your favorite part? What parts do you find that you plot more than wing it?
Well, when I begin a book, I know kind of the big points that are going to happen. And then as I go, I will know kind of the next 5 chapters or so. And then when I'm about at the 70% mark, I will be more specific, like, okay, the next however many chapters, this is kind of what we need left here, and get more to where I follow it better than the rest of the book.
Do you ever find that as you're writing, the characters pull you in a place that they don't want you to go?
Yes, they have a mind of their own sometimes, for sure.
What parts of the books were surprising that the characters steered you a different direction than you sort of thought you were going to write?
I didn't really see the one bed scene going the way it did. Did not follow the usual one bed situation.
It's always good when there's surprising parts, though, as you're
Yes.
writing.
Yeah. And when I started writing Papa Hector and Uncle Hal, they were so much fun. I could have just hung out with them the whole time, so I had to make sure they didn't take over.
Did you have a favorite moment to write in the book other than writing those characters?
Um, I love when Camden and Juju kind of give in to their feelings because they've really been bickering a lot of the book, and they're funny and they rile each other up. But when they finally admit that they have feelings for each other, that's my favorite.
How do you, what's your process for writing the book and you're going through your world and character building?
Um, these characters I knew pretty well going into it because we had actually met them um in book 5 of my last series, the Single Dad Playbook. So I knew at least Camden. We didn't know Juliana until book 1 in this series. So I kind of knew their personalities by now. Um, and I like to know eh, what they're what they would like, what they would dislike, so that when I start writing, I'm able to feel like, oh, they would not say that, or they would say that. Just kind of get a good idea of the kind of people they would be.
How would you, what suggestions do you have to a person who's starting to write their own book who doesn't really know how to get into the mind of their characters?
I would say, think about if you don't have a good sense of who the character is, think about what you want the, them to say. What do you want the book to be about? What do you want the message to come across as? And then think about someone that you know that might have some of those qualities that you would want to write about, and maybe start there. And then they can kind of take on a life of their own, I think, once you dive in more.
I always think basing it off someone, who has the sort of personality that you would like in a character might be a bit helpful then sort of like, okay, you got a
Yes.
character. Let's make it all up on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah. And then do like give it a twist. So it's not just like copying who someone else already is, but take that and then run with it.
Do you ha How has writing and publishing books changed the way you see yourself if it has?
I'm not sure how it's changed the way I see myself because I'm pretty self-critical, but I've just been so grateful that people actually want to read my books because I just love writing so much that I would have done it no matter what. And it's such a huge bonus that people are actually reading them.
It's always nice that someone actually picks up your book and sort of like, I can see myself in these characters, or I like these types of characters and tropes in the books too.
Yes, that has been life-changing, truly.
Did you have any books or authors that inspired you before you started writing as a writer, before you became a writer?
So many. I'm a big reader, so I have loved reading as long as I can remember. And I've I like a ton of authors. Some writing books that I enjoyed were Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. I loved that one. Um, Stephen King's On Writing was really inspiring. There are tons more now that I still like to read a writing book every now and then just to see if I can glean any new tips. Um, but yeah, I will read anything
So
and take a little inspiration from all of it.
you'll find an inspiration everywhere,
Yeah,
really.
for sure.
What advice would you give to a writer working on their first book, and were you given any advice when you first started writing?
The advice I would give is just keep writing. I had finished a novel 11 years before I ever published one. So just keep going and don't be afraid to edit, and rewrite. I think the more you write, the better it'll get. Um, and get to know the genre you're writing in. Find out what are kind of the not rules, but a little bit. Like if you're writing romance, don't make it have a sad ending.
That won't
That's
work.
yeah. Figure out what you're writing and what are the little guidelines in that genre and go with that. And and find your lane and kind of stick with it. I wasn't told that back then, and I wish I had been.
Know what you sort of what you're really good at writing and sort of change it up a bit, but don't maybe step out of your comfort zone a little bit, but don't do it too much.
Yes. Yeah. I wrote whatever I wanted to write in the beginning, and some of it hit right and some of it didn't. So,
Do you have a writing favorite writing snack or drink?
um, I wish I could drink caffeine all day while I'm writing, but I cannot. I can only drink a little bit or I'm awake all night long. But I write really early in the morning, so I'll usually start out with a cup of coffee with my dog by me, and yeah, not any specific snacks. I would also love to be eating Twizzlers all day, but
Yep, not
or
good.
Maltesers, but yeah, I'm trying to not have diabetes.
Can't go wrong with coffee though. It's the best to have to wake up.
Yeah.
Do you listen or play music while you write?
Not very often because I will start singing if I do.
I would do that too. I don't know how people can listen to music a lot of the time.
I don't either.
And my final question is, who has been the biggest supporter of your writing?
My family, they yeah, they're my biggest support and have helped me get it done, whether it's just cheering me on or making sure I eat when I'm really invested in the story. And yeah, they're so happy for me to be doing what I love.
It's always good to have like your family and people closest to you supporting you and like sort of
Yeah.
making sure you're okay.
Yes, they've done that for sure. I'm so grateful for them. I've also got writer friends that I love, and they're the ones that will usually tell me, you're in the top 100 before I even know it myself, which just means so much that they're cheering me on like that.
It's really good to see that the author community really supporting each other. You don't always
Yeah,
find that in other workplaces as well.
I love it. Yeah, we've got to stick together. So I'm grateful that I've got dear friends in this community.